At 7:41 local time, 4 F-35I fighters blasted off the runway at Rahman Air Base. Using the call signs Venom 1 through 4, they surged east toward a high-value objective, Iran's space headquarters, the node responsible for feeding targeting data to its ballistic missile forces. Every element of the strike package was engineered for stealth, but unknown to the pilots, southeast of Tehran, an Iranian air defense battery, cold, dark, and silent, had already detected them. Over western Iran, Venom Lead's threat warning system picked up a radar spike, brief, sharp, then gone. 40 kilometers later, a second burst appeared from a different direction. The formation was being handed off between tracking units. Each radar lit up just long enough to pass the track before going silent again, avoiding detection by anti-radiation missiles. Then, the situation changed instantly. Inside Venom 3, the engine management system flashed warnings across the pilot's helmet display. Turbine inlet temperatures were climbing beyond safe limits. The single Pratt & Whitney F135 engine automatically reduced thrust to protect itself, cutting power by 15% without pilot input. In friendly airspace, that's a maintenance issue. Over hostile territory, it's a potential loss of the aircraft and the pilot. Venom Lead made the decision within seconds. Venom 3 could not continue. Venom 4 would escort. Both aircraft broke southwest along a revised corridor, carefully managing the failing engine as they headed toward Iraqi airspace, while the remaining jets pressed forward. The formation had just lost half its strength over one of the most dangerous cities on Earth. Venom 1 checked the clock. 9 minutes to the initial point, 3 minutes from there to weapons release. 12 minutes total, with strict limitations. No aggressive maneuvering, no afterburner, nothing that could increase their thermal signature. Below, Iranian air defense crews were already analyzing the gap left in the sky. And somewhere beneath them, a radar system that had remained silent for 8 days was now calculating the same scenario. Inside Venom 1 and 2, the weapons officers faced a critical constraint: 8 bombs instead of 16. The target, an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Space Command complex, consisted of multiple buildings, rooftop antenna arrays linking satellites, control rooms managing orbital operations, and server infrastructure containing encryption keys. 16 bombs would have covered everything. 8 required prioritization. The decision came fast: antenna arrays first, control rooms second, server levels third. Each target would receive just enough force to ensure destruction. No redundancy. What would normally take a full targeting team half an hour was completed in 45 seconds at altitude. That wasn't improvisation. It was preparation for the worst-case scenario. But the weapons calculation was about to become secondary. 3,000 feet below their planned altitude, something that had been silent for 8 days was about to activate. When Venom 3 and 4 deviated from the original flight path, the entire strike wave had to adjust. Dozens of stealth aircraft were converging on the capital simultaneously, platforms that couldn't see each other on radar by design. Emergency deconfliction updates were issued, and Venom 1 and 2 were reassigned to an altitude 3,000 feet lower than planned. That change placed them closer to ground threats, and inside the detection envelope of a system believed to be inactive. A khordad 15 battery southeast of the city had just detected them. Its commander had observed the entire conflict without activating his radar. He had watched other systems illuminate, fire, and then disappear within minutes under AGM-88 HARM strikes. None had lasted more than 2 minutes. He intended to last longer. Using a passive electro-optical tracker, he detected 2 thermal signatures at 35 kilometers, moving northwest toward central Tehran. At military power, an F-35 produces exhaust temperatures around 1,500 degrees Celsius, bright against the cold upper atmosphere. The altitude shift had given him exactly what he needed. He activated his radar for just 3 seconds. enough to refine bearing and range, then shut it down. That brief emission was all he exposed. The system operated with two vehicles, one carrying a phased array radar, the other equipped with 4 surface-to-air missiles. But its real advantage was the passive optical tracker, undetectable, silent, and invisible to the F-35's warning systems. Like watching someone approach in the dark by the glow of their phone, while they have no idea you're there. Still, the radar struggled against the aircraft's low, observable profile. Instead of a clean track, it produced intermittent returns, ghost-like contacts that couldn't fully resolve. Not enough for a firing solution, but enough to confirm presence. Inside Venom 1, the F-35's AN/ASQ-239 Barracuda system detected the radar burst before it ended. Within seconds, it classified the emitter, geolocated it with high precision, and identified the system. In just 3 seconds, the battery had revealed everything: its position, its type, and its capabilities. But knowing the threat didn't eliminate it. The system's missiles had an estimated engagement range of 45 kilometers against stealth targets. Venom 1 and 2 were already inside 35 and closing fast. On the ground, the commander faced a narrow window. His radar couldn't maintain a lock long enough to fire, but staying passive meant letting the targets pass. Distance dropped: 33 kilometers, 31. Every kilometer reduced missile flight time, and the time available for a counterstrike. He had roughly 30 seconds of radar operation before becoming a target for a Mach 3 missile. He made his choice. The radar powered up at full output. The crew prepared for launch. 8 days of silence compressed into 30 seconds of action. What he didn't know was that the moment he committed to continuous tracking, a AGM-88 EAA-RGM had already locked onto his position. Above, Venom 1 and 2 pressed forward. Below, anti-aircraft fire erupted, guns firing blindly into the sky. At the same time, 8 bombs were already descending, fighting through an electronic warfare environment the pilots could monitor but not control. Inside the battery, the operator struggled to maintain a solution. The display flickered between valid returns and interference. Partial tracks formed, then dissolved into static, like trying to read a message while someone keeps knocking the phone out of your hand. Time collapsed. 30 seconds, 20, 10. Then briefly, clarity. 2 solid contacts appeared at 31 kilometers, clean bearing, clean range. He reached for the firing control. Too late. The missile was already inbound, closing fast below the radar horizon. Even shutting down the radar wouldn't help. The missile had memorized the coordinates the moment the signal was detected. Seconds later, impact. The battery was destroyed. The last major guided threat over Tehran was gone. But the mission wasn't over. Venom 1 and 2 still had to cross the city. Below them, anti-aircraft guns filled the sky with unguided fire. 23mm cannons and heavy machine guns sent streams of tracers upward, not precise, but dangerous. A single round intersecting their flight path could be catastrophic. Using the F-35's distributed aperture system, the pilots saw every tracer stream in real time and navigated through the densest fire. Ahead, the target. Bomb bay doors opened for 3 seconds, maximum exposure. Their radar signature expanded dramatically, visible to any surviving sensors. 8 GBU-39 Small Diameter Bomb weapons dropped into Iranian airspace. The doors closed, the jets banked west. The pilot's job was done. Now the bombs had to fight their own battle. Each weapon relied on dual guidance, GPS and inertial navigation. But over Tehran, GPS signals were heavily contested. Iranian electronic warfare systems were jamming and spoofing signals, attempting to mislead the weapons. Without correction, accuracy would drift, 5 meters, then 20, enough to miss the target in a dense city. Jamming acted like noise, drowning out real signals. Spoofing was worse, false signals that looked real, guiding the bomb toward the wrong location. But these weapons had an advantage. They used encrypted military GPS signals, rejecting false inputs and searching for authenticated data. Even through interference, they found intermittent but reliable signals, correcting their path continuously. 12 seconds to impact. Guidance systems adjusted rapidly, refining aim from a general area to a building, to a specific structure. Impact. The first bomb destroyed the antenna arrays, severing satellite uplinks. The second struck the control room, disabling operations. The third penetrated the server infrastructure. The fourth collapsed the remaining structure. Moments later, satellites in orbit attempted to reconnect with ground control, receiving no response. Signals repeated, no reply. 3 satellites remained in orbit, but without a functioning command center, they were effectively useless. No anti-satellite weapon was required. Just a handful of precision bombs and the right coordinates. Mission complete.